team. I'm Alexandra Eidenberg. Welcome to our Mompreneurship series with Meet Advisors. I'm excited to be here today with Trudy Robinson. I am the owner and president of the Insurance People, as well as the founder of an amazing organization called Mom Plus Baby that supports women and children online, in person on the Hill. And I'm excited to be working with Trudy on many levels. She's the owner of two amazing retail stores, both Kickin and Attire in Roscoe Village. And as a person who came from the retail world, I always love seeing women still getting to hang out with clothes and shoes every day. I'm definitely jealous. As an insurance agent, we're not having as much fun at my office as we are at yours. So tell me more about what you have going on and what you do.
Yes, well, we own Kickin, and Kickin is a retail store that focuses on flexible fashion, and then also Attire, which is a shoe boutique for the most part, but also with other accessories. So those are our two actual brick and mortar stores in Roscoe Village. And what I do day by day kind of revolves on keeping those things alive literally 24/7 because we are open 7 days a week.
Yeah. Well, you are open 7 days a week.
Yes.
Excellent. You know, I always think it's like the restaurant industry is closed on Monday. Retail is sometimes closed on Sunday. It just kind of depends on what communities you're in. But Roscoe Village is always happening. So I'm not surprised that you're open all the time. Now, how did you end up in retail? Have you always been in retail, then opened up your own businesses? How did this begin?
Yeah, so after college, I spent a lot of time more in the advertising world, the marketing world, and then worked for various magazines as an advertising director and then publisher eventually.
Excellent.
Throughout all that time, the magazines I worked with always involved active lifestyle as well as fashion. And every so often I would say to my husband, hey, I'm ready to start my own company. So I had a lot of different ideas from coffee shops. I think all entrepreneurs do. You always think coffee shops, lots of different things. So I had an opportunity to actually leave a position that I'd been with for over 8 years, go invest in a magazine, which I did for 6-8 years.
Yeah.
And there I, really basically saw what it was like to start a business. And I'd always thought about starting a clothing boutique that really brought to life a magazine called Fit Pregnancy, because the magazine I was working on a lot was Shape, all these active lifestyles. So Fit Pregnancy.
Yeah. I love that magazine.
Yeah, it really is about fashion, feeling good from the inside out. So taking care of yourself, but also then really showing that to the world. So basically my steps were leaving the advertising agency, then the big magazine publisher that I spent a lot of time between Chicago and New York, then going and being a partner in a startup magazine, and then realizing that starting your business is just about having the guts, the belief in yourself, some of the skills, even if you don't know the industry. So after 6-8 months there being a partner, but the minority partner, I said, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm still not getting this true ownership I want.
Yeah.
And let's go bring to life Fit Pregnancy in a store.
I love it. So, and that's Kickin. So was that the first store that you opened?
8 years ago.
Okay, great. And I have this amazing dress from there. I'm
Absolutely.
pregnant with our third, and I'm so excited. As I told you, I needed this dress because every pregnant girl needs a dress with horses on it. It was perfect. So thank you for having such a great store. I also love Attire. I've gotten a pair of shoes from there, and my kids have gotten even more shoes from there. That's the problem with having kids who end up buying them a numerous amount of accessories and all sorts of stuff. So when did Attire come into the picture? When did you open up the other store?
Yeah, so we started Kickin 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And after about a year, after 2006, 2007, it was going well. No kids were in the picture yet for us personally.
Yeah.
We were married, and I said, gosh, this is going well. It was always my dream to have about 5 retail stores.
Yeah.
So at that point, we were looking at expanding Kickin. We made trips to Portland, Oregon. We were looking at other cities.
Yeah.
And there was this big trade-off. Do we expand the brand of Kickin and do that, or do we really leverage the community involvement and the same shoppers you might share? And I kept hearing over and over, people in Roscoe Village said, we need a shoe store, we need a shoe store.
Yeah.
And at that point, I thought, well, if we need a shoe store,
let's open
a shoe store.
I love it.
So fill the need. So 2 years later, we opened Attire, which stands for on foot in French. So it's all about being
love it.
A bit of European sense, a bit of sophistication, but still things that are accessible, and you can actually live a city lifestyle and be on foot.
I have to admit, I did call it a pied for quite a while. I'm sure I'm not the only person who's mispronounced it, but I was like, oh, it's the A-Pied shoe store, which I thought was some kind of mathematical something. So, and of course it's French. And
we had a lot of people who actually thought they were getting a pie shop. So we had women and men, but the funniest one would be guys would go home and be like, oh, I'm so excited. There's a pie shop opening up. And the lady would be like, no, honey, I'm so excited.
That's a shoe store. I love it. So that's fantastic. Great. Well, pie shop or shoe store, I mean, it would have been a winning situation. I'm glad you picked shoes, though, as a female on the end of that one. So I, coming from the retail world, just know all the crazy work that goes into it. So, between inventory and staff and all the coordinating, tell me more about how you decided to suddenly jump in and have a kid. I know you had the businesses and then the kid. How did you take that leap?
Yeah, I think, when we were when I had been in the corporate world on the magazine side for quite a while, one of my decisions to leave there was, at that point, I had a very successful career, but I was spending half my time in Chicago, or maybe a third of my time in Chicago, then a lot of times in New York, and then in California and Texas, all over the place. I loved it. But I also realized that at that point in that industry was very much, you might be the it girl one day.
Right.
But 6 months later, I had the privilege of, seeing editors and publishers literally in conferences be pulled out, fired, let go that moment. So I realized that, you can put your heart and soul in it. You might love it. But if you are trying to then potentially consider having a family and see where this is going to lead for the next 30 years of your life, there's a lot of fun rides, but it's a lot of ups and downs when you're working for someone else. So I think it was also just about that control, knowing that when you're an entrepreneur, the work you put into it is your own. So I guess your question was, how did I decide to do it while I was an entrepreneur? Yeah. I'll be honest, the more decision was like, as I, prior to becoming an entrepreneur, I'm like, I want to build an entrepreneur opportunity in my life. I want to build a business where I then down the road can actually foresee myself having my cake and eating it too.
Right.
So we had 1 year at Kickin that was successful. We had I'm trying to think in the chronological order. Then we opened IPA, and then after the second business was up and running, and I had 2 managers that were on board. We're like, okay, this is a great time. And again, this is 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And the economy was still trucking along at that point. So it just seemed like it worked out.
Yeah. Well, the thing with having kids is it could be the right time, and then it takes longer to get pregnant. The whole series of considering it, being pregnant, having the kid, postpartum. It's like such a scenario. So, do your kids come to work with you? Like, how did you leverage having a newborn and running the stores? You just let the management roll with it, or were you in the store hands on still?
No, probably there's even a good story. When I was like 40 weeks pregnant, we had a big street festival, and at that point at 41 weeks, I don't know where I was in there. I was still down there selling shoes at the street festival, because I think in the whole entrepreneur side of things, there's certain times, you reap what you sow, and you also know that there's times that you have to make hay when the sun shines. That's the old saying. So when there's opportunity, you go, even if it's with kids, without. So no, I took a couple weeks off, and then I was back, but you're not back to the same level. You need to have your hands still in the pot, but you still need to have the team that can manage it. Yeah. And I think, I was back, but then took a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But the kids still come to the store some.
Yeah.
In a retail environment, it's not ideal for you to be there by yourself and have the kid there.
Right. I would imagine, yes, that'd be a little bit hectic.
Yeah, but, they can definitely come before the store hours, so you can do different things. You can hope that you can walk around the block, somebody falls asleep, and then you bring the stroller into the store, and you get a couple hours worth of work while somebody else is there. Yeah. And now, as my oldest is now 5, he is old enough to come and sometimes say, hey, may I help you with something? Can I tell you thank you for shopping at IPA? Not that we're, disobeying child labor laws, but he can definitely be there and see the hard work.
I love it. I did not realize how great it was being a business owner until I really had kids. I mean, I've always been entrepreneurial and I loved running a business, but I too had my kids after already being a business owner. And then I realized how amazing it was where this ability to be a mompreneur was letting me be, the mom my kids deserve, but also the career woman that I deserve. And for me, living a full life has a lot to do with still having my career, but also making sure that my kids have what they need. What does mompreneurship mean to you?
Alexandra, I think what you said is very much what it means. It means I want and really cherish the fact that I can have a career, that I can have 2 businesses that are successful. I think everybody wants them to be more successful many times than they were. Right? But, successful, and that you can still provide those things that you want to provide to your kids. I also think that your kids really see that this idea of hard work. I kind of think there's that interesting day, take your kids to work day.
Yeah.
Well, I think...
Take them every day.
Yeah, they pretty much, on that day, maybe I send them out with the uncle or somebody else,
Right.
but at that point, it's like they see what it's like to work.
Yeah.
And I think they very much benefit from that.
Yeah.
There's also times that they're like, oh my gosh, mom's working again, mom's working again. But I think sometimes people talk about separating work life and home life, that
Right.
you shouldn't bring your work stuff home with you. And I actually, in my ideal, feel like the two meld together.
Right.
That you work to live and live to work together. Like
Right,
it's not one or the other. They're just melded because
Right.
you enjoy what you do at work. Work shouldn't be considered just work. It's
Right.
work some of the time, but it should be a blast and
Yeah.
fun, and you should get those highs from that.
Well, I own a business that
Right.
you're not all about.
Same with the
so.
kids. So to me, mompreneurship means eternally trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Maybe never feeling like you 100%
Because
did.
we always want more cake.
And, yes, and you always feel like you should maybe have a little more time for your kids, and that I think there is some of that guilt. But also, I think at the end of the day, you go to bed and you're like, you know what, that was a really great day. I
Yeah.
actually get to be here. I get to be a part of running every day at your business. How we do, there's opportunity, there's hope. There's no one saying no.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity to build that, which is great. Many other people feel as moms that they don't have that opportunity in their job.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurship means that. But at the same time, you also get to say, hey, it's important for me to go spend this day at the school and
Yeah.
be with my 2-year-old this day or whatever. And if you need to and you decide that's what it is, there's no boss above you saying you can't
You
do
can't take
that.
the day off kind of thing. Yeah. Now, earlier when we were chatting, we decided we should coin the term dadpreneurship, which I'm very
Yes.
excited. Everyone, it's official. We're making it a term, dadpreneurship. And I want you to tell me a little bit more about, how we had that conversation, because we're always talking about mompreneurship. It's a word I use very often. We don't hear about dadpreneurs and their balancing act. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, one of the things when people talk about this with women that get me on the edge of the chair is like, I don't think it should be this like pity mommy, pity woman, she has all this stuff to do. Yeah. I'm much more like, I have this great opportunity to do all this.
Right.
But let's talk about the dads. Like, they should be doing the same things too. And
Right.
I just expect that. I
Right.
guess I don't have this whole like, I have to do this, I have to do that. My husband works as well within independently owned
Yeah.
business as well. And he's running the kids to just as many things.
Right.
He's reading to the kids, he's changing
Yeah.
diapers, he's doing all the same things.
Yeah.
And there's no like, oh, applaud him on the back or pity me.
Right.
It's just
Right.
equal. If
And
two
no one's
people are in the
wondering how
entrepreneur-
he's leveraging the home and work front, but
No,
I think
no
we
one's
should.
asking
Yeah.
him specifically, oh, how are you balancing it all, But I do get that comment. I get, oh my gosh, how do you do it all? How do you have a couple of kids and a couple of, stores and it's just, well, that you figure it out and you just try to keep
Right.
a million balls in the air.
Totally.
But I just think it's really about just expecting men to do the same thing.
I love it. So I'm going to start asking dadpreneurs how they're leveraging it all. It's going to be one of my commitments this week. I'm going to find some dadpreneurs to ask how are they leveraging the home and work front.
Yes.
And see how they respond.
Now, in my case, there is one thing I could leverage that probably guys couldn't. So when I was pregnant for the couple times and right after, I could be a good model of my clothing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Kickin
I love it.
At the store.
I'm still hoping
and
my
show
husband
how it
gets
worked.
pregnant.
And yes, and I'm not sure that men could quite leverage it that way.
No, probably not. I can't really imagine your husband
so
wearing the maternity wear and being able to
And
highlight
doing
it
that
well.
quite, right? But anyhow, that's
Yeah.
one small thing. But in general, I just think it really just needs to be an assumption that outside of certain biological differences that happen, i.e. when you're pregnant, that's a little different
Right.
biological
Yeah.
aspect than men, that we should just expect from society equal amounts.
Right, on both the home and work front.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think that, creating those, I'm one of those people that says don't create too many expectations or you'll feel disappointed by the outcome. But, really partnering up with amazing business partners and, having a great spouse team is just crucial. And I know that my husband was up with me every night with my girls when they were newborns and, when they're not feeling well, he's totally there on board and just, all hands on deck. And I'm really happy that I have that because my business needs it too. When he's there to help out with the kids, I can focus on the business, and it's that whole happy medium. What are you doing in the community? I know that you're very involved in Roscoe Village, and obviously you have 2 stores. When you made that big business decision of not opening up in Portland another Kickin, but instead really growing your reach within the community, tell me more. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we are members of Roscoe Village Chamber of Commerce and also Roscoe Village Neighbors. So the Chamber of Commerce really supports the businesses. The Neighbors is really focused on the people who live there, so that's great. That neighborhood is just rich in a lot of special different events. So we definitely participate in all of those, from just the fun Halloween trick-or-treating that happened yesterday, as well as all the different events that happen throughout the year. But there's two I can highlight specifically that I think about. One is at the shoe store. We partnered with the local school, Audubon, and have started an annual Tom's fundraiser drive.
Oh, great.
So many people love Tom's. They're going to wear them and buy them anyhow. And when you buy a pair of Tom's, that company gives a pair of shoes to someone in need. So they're definitely a socially responsible company as it is. But additionally, we take with those, when they bought their school colors, we gave 20% back to school on all of that. And additionally, we worked with the school then to have junior high artists from school actually customize the shoes with their hawks and everything. So it really involved a lot of different elements of involving the kids, empowering them, raising funds. And,
that's wonderful. And that's just like 2 blocks behind you, which is great.
Yeah.
It's so local. I love it.
So that's one thing we've done there to monetarily support the community, but also continue to build on the program to involve the kids in it and make it not just monetarily a contribution. Yeah. And then with Kickin is flexible fashion. So it's not just maternity, it's flexible fashion for regular, contemporary, maternity, and nursing. Top that I have on, shirt I have on, it's from there, you know, it's all very flexible. But at the same time, our niche events definitely embrace those women in that childbearing years. So while they're pregnant and afterwards. So one of the commitments we've had, kind of stemming from my background with Shape Magazine, was to consistently partner with people quarterly, every month, kind of depends on the cycle of it, to provide some free workout classes. So that's great. I've been able to partner with another mompreneur, Jackie, for Fit for Mom. And we've loved that. And then also do some other like new mom events where we've oft brought in somebody who could do child massage, new infant massage for free, while people are enjoying kind of this really welcoming environment for a few hours free of charge in the store. So our service reach out there is more in helping those moms or moms-to-be, new moms, live healthy, happy
I love it. And, you know, it's just so great being in your stores. There's such a warmth to both of them. And I guess I'm also, you know, a total clothes and shoes whore. So I'm just very excited in general as the insurance agent to get out of that environment and into one of those environments where it's just all about feeling really good. And I know as a pregnant woman, you know, quite often there are insecurities about, you know, what do I wear, how do I wear it? And every time I'm in your store, you just make me feel so wonderful. I call this my pretty dress. So it just makes me feel pretty. And you're a part of that. So I really appreciate it. Now, what are your websites so people can find you more?
Yes, so our website for Kickin is kickinmaternity.com. And then for our shoe store, which is mainly women, but a little bit men's and kids as well, is APIE Shoe Boutique. And APIE is A-P-I-E-D for anyone who is not fluent in French. A-Pied. A-P-I-E-D shoeboutique.com.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here with me today. This was awesome. I'm so excited we took some time to get to know one another more and for you to share your mompreneurship story. For more mompreneurship stories, please join us at meetadvisors.com and madly.com. We're so excited that you joined us today. Thank you. I'm Alexandra Eidenberg. Have a great day.